Hello, welcome. This is Claudine and welcome to another IGTV video. So it's been a great couple of weeks for me. So I have recently completed my Business Development Sunday, so my first one, which was about online learning. So if you follow me in my stories, you would have been able to see some of the testimonials. So definitely check out my stories. My feed is really for my content to help my followers and for the followers' interests. But really the stories are where you see the behind the scenes, you get to see testimonials, and it has a bit more of a lighter touch. And one of the tips for you is it's really important to do that. Keep your feed for your followers and for your niche. And then in terms of your stories, that's when you can do stuff around kind of day in the life. Because like say for instance, if you're a career coach and then you've got hashtags around recipes and food, then it does really confuse the algorithm. So sometimes it's good just to kind of keep your content very focused, and that's one of the recommendations that I have received. So that's why I share my content in the way that I do. So the topic for today is really about radiators and drainers. So some of you may have heard of the term radiators and drainers. So I've got some notes here. So radiators are really people who suck the energy, drive and enthusiasm out of us, whereas radiators, those are the people that bring the joy, happiness and fulfillment and happiness into our lives. So this topic is very apt at the moment, considering the times people are having very challenging and varied time during the pandemic. Some people are having the greatest years of their life in the pandemic. I did think like that in 2020. I was weathering the pandemic, but I think there's kind of differences and it kind of have peaks and troughs. But, for years, as we can see, back to the topic, there has been a general increase in people wanting to better themselves and exude happiness. And, you may be one of those people, you may be getting it right and you have achieved that balance. And, congratulations to people who are able to do that, and that is very commendable and worthy, because it is very tough, and if you've been able to meet that balance, then that's great. But sometimes it's something that business owners need to be mindful of when they're relating to their audiences. So as we know, we live in very challenging times. I did a story recently in Mental Health Awareness Month about mental health and how it's affected people around me. So we need to be really mindful of people's mental health. And I was taught in marketing, especially in sales, that you need to twist the knife in when you're trying to gain potential clients. So you really need to exaggerate pain points. And I've heard many accounts mention that too. And even some people have mentioned it with a smile on their face. But I do believe that it's important to share, especially with your audience, their current and potential pain points, their challenges and their pitfalls, because educational information is very important on social media. But it's also important to share the transformational vision and how your business, your products and your services can help to resolve those issues. But we do not have to go overboard, and we don't necessarily have to compromise ourselves. So with our content, we don't need to say that people are dumb or stupid or clowns or, have a stupidity just for not doing this or doing that. And you may have seen that, some people, business owners are doing this, some business owners are doing that. And then they get into the comments with their followers and they're just discussing how people operate poorly or, or they follow certain things that they shouldn't be doing. And I see this a lot, and honestly, it's something that makes me cringe. I think that social media can be a very toxic place, and that's probably why I talk about it a lot. Some people may think, oh, you don't have to always be nice all the time. But I generally think that the world is such in a state at the moment. I think that sometimes it's best just to really think about people's well-being and their experience and be an account that's not necessarily breaking people down. And I don't think that we should always assume what people are or not doing to coerce them to change, because sometimes I do see posts and they say stop doing this or stop doing that, and I'm thinking, how do you know people are doing that? Yes, you talk to certain people, and I think sometimes to a certain extent a lot of people understand their followers, but I think sometimes it's the way you pitch it that is the best. You have to be very mindful of. And, you know, I think sometimes the way people sometimes react, sometimes it does say a lot about the culture and the environment that they're working in. And I think that content, as we always say, content is king on Instagram. So, you know, we have to share valuable content, products and services that meet our audience's needs. That content needs to be informative, it needs to be intriguing, it needs to be inspirational, it needs to be entertaining, and it needs to build a connection with our audience. So, for instance, doing behind the scenes, doing funny posts. We need to have content that stimulates our audience. So those are just a few. Obviously, they're not very good examples, but you know what I'm trying to say is that we need to have content that brings about change and helps our audience. And if we are radiators, you know, we lift people up. And, you know, there are people that prefer the stick. There are people who have been conditioned, and I know that from my psychology background, they've been conditioned and they feel more comfortable in terms of negativity and critique. And that's really because that's how they've been socialized. That's how sometimes the environments that they've worked in, and also how they have maybe operated or been socialized growing up. And, you know, we all know people that can't take compliments or give compliments. Sometimes I find it difficult to take compliments, you know, but we also know people who prefer to maybe insult or even joke rather than to say something nice. But we just need to be mindful of our tone as business owners when building a brand. And I think that the biggest successful companies, you know, they don't get ahead from negativity. You know, a lot of people don't want to be like big brands, but it's really important that one of the things you emulate from big brands is that people don't get ahead through negativity. You know, their products, their services, and their businesses and their content speak for itself. Like I said, content is really key. And one of the key ways of attracting clients, and one of the great mechanisms for doing that is through your content. So connecting and converting them through your content. So it's better to be a radiator than to be a drainer. So be that account that people are happy to open their social media and see, rather than being an account that people tolerate because their account holder is negative but their content is good. And we've all had experiences like this, you know, where we receive bad customer service, and sometimes we actually particularly hate a brand, you know, we dislike it, but their products and services are unmatched. So what usually happens, we wait until a rival comes along and that creates a better customer experience, and then we follow them. And, you know, that's the current phenomenon at the moment with Chick-fil-A in the US. I know it's a chicken brand, but, you know, that's just an example. You know, there's tons of chicken outlets, but customers have a better perception of that company, and they're more likely to buy for them, mainly through their customer service. And, you know, you see so many memes and brands, it's almost like come a bit of a joke, the quality of their customer service. So it's really important that we are radiators and we lift people up. So we need to be the best accounts that we can to give our customers a professional and positive customer experience. So many people know about customer service. It's a hot topic and it's really important. And I believe that this post is somewhat ironic. You know, I'm stating what people should and shouldn't do in the same way. And following this live, there may be people in the comments who then criticize the behaviors and the negative behaviors of those accounts. But I believe that it's best to be a radiator. It's best to lift people up and support the general mental health and well-being of others. Social media is such a toxic place. And, you know, I can say that the high majority of my followers are getting it right. But it's something that I wanted to share, the importance of being a radiator, being positive, having enthusiasm. Okay, you know, sometimes we do share negative things, sometimes we do share downfalls, that's different. But I think in terms of how you're connecting with your audience, I think it's really important to be uplifting and positive. So that is my 2 cents. So thank you for listening. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and many thanks for your support, and enjoy the rest of your day.